There comes a moment in life when you realize that not everyone around you has your best interests at heart. Some people are only present for what they can gain, while others pretend to care but show their true colors through their actions. And if you don't recognize these signs early on, you might find yourself drained emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. Today, we're breaking down 7 behaviors of people who don't care about you. These behaviors are subtle at times, but once you see them, you can't unsee them. And when you do, you must make a decision. Will you continue to let them occupy space in your life? Or will you choose yourself and walk away? Because here's the truth: your time, your energy, and your heart are too valuable to waste on people who don't truly care about you. Some people enter your life not because they truly care about you, but because they see you as a means to an end. They only show up when they need something, whether it's your time, energy, resources, or emotional support. When life is going well for them, they are nowhere to be found, but the moment they face a challenge, they suddenly remember your number. They reach out with urgency, acting as if your presence in their life is crucial, yet when you need them, they become distant, unavailable, or indifferent. This pattern is subtle at first. You might not even notice it because you're naturally a giving person. Maybe you've convinced yourself that this is just how relationships work. You help people when they need you, and someday they'll return the favor. But over time, you start to see a pattern. They never check in on you unless there's something in it for them. They don't ask how you're doing unless it leads to a request. They don't engage in your life beyond what benefits them. Think back to the last time you struggled. Who were the people who checked on you without being prompted? Who stood by you? Not because they needed something, but because they genuinely cared about your well-being. Now compare that to those who suddenly reappeared when they wanted something. Did they ask how you were doing? Or did they immediately jump to their request? Did they express any real interest in your life, or did they make the conversation about their needs? These are the signs of someone who doesn't truly care about you. You'll notice that these people have an uncanny ability to make everything about them. They are experts at crafting messages or conversations in a way that makes their needs seem urgent, even more important than anything you might be going through. They may use guilt as a tool, saying things like, "I thought you were my friend," or "I've always been there for you," even when you know deep down that this isn't true. They count on your kindness and generosity, believing that you'll give in to their requests because you don't want to seem selfish or unkind. And perhaps the most painful realization is this: the moment you stop being useful to them, they will disappear again. They will not ask if you're okay. They will not return the favor. They will simply move on to the next person who can give them what they need. This is because their care for you was never genuine. It was conditional on what they could gain. This type of relationship is draining. It makes you feel used, unappreciated, and undervalued. You might start to question yourself, wondering if you're overreacting or if you should just accept that some people are like this. But the truth is, a real relationship, whether it's a friendship, a family bond, or a romantic connection, should never feel one-sided. You should never feel like you are only valuable when someone needs something from you. It's difficult to come to terms with this realization because at our core, we want to believe that people have good intentions. We want to believe that those we've helped will be there for us, just as we were for them. But not everyone operates that way. Some people take without giving. Some people only see relationships as transactions, not as deep, meaningful connections. So what can you do? The first step is awareness. Once you recognize this behavior in someone, you have the power to decide how much access they have to your life. You don't have to cut them off completely, but you can set boundaries. You can choose to say no. You can choose to prioritize relationships that are built on mutual care and respect, rather than ones that leave you feeling drained and unappreciated. When you achieve something meaningful, whether it's a new job, a personal milestone, or even something as simple as completing a goal you've worked hard for, the people who genuinely care about you will celebrate your success. They will be happy for you, not because it benefits them, but because they truly want to see you thrive. However, there are others who react differently. These individuals don't clap when you win. Instead, they downplay your achievements, ignore your progress, or even try to make you feel guilty for your success. At first, it may seem like an oversight. You tell them about something exciting that happened to you, expecting encouragement, only to be met with silence or a half-hearted response. You might hear a vague, "Oh, that's nice," or a dismissive "must be nice." There is no real excitement in their voice, no genuine happiness in their expression. You can feel the lack of enthusiasm, even if they don't say it outright. Over time, a pattern begins to emerge. These people consistently fail to acknowledge your achievements, and when they do, they minimize them. If you worked hard for a promotion, they'll say, well, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people get promoted. If you accomplish a personal goal, they'll say anyone could do that if they tried. They refuse to give you the credit you deserve because deep down your success makes them uncomfortable. Some will go even further and turn your success into a competition. Instead of celebrating with you, they find a way to shift the attention back to themselves. You share your excitement, and suddenly they start talking about their own experiences, subtly trying to outshine you. If you say you got a new opportunity, they'll say, "Oh, that reminds me, I have something even bigger coming up." They can't stand to let you have your moment because they always need to feel superior. Then there are those who take a more passive-aggressive approach. Rather than openly competing with you, they might try to make you feel guilty for your success. They might say things like, "It must be nice to have everything go your way," or "Some of us have real problems." Their words are designed to make you question whether you should even feel proud of your accomplishments. They want you to shrink yourself, to feel bad for having something they don't. This kind of behavior reveals a lot about a person's true character. People who care about you will be happy when you succeed, even if they aren't in the best place in their own lives. They will understand that your achievements don't take anything away from them. But those who don't care, or worse, those who secretly resent you, will always find a way to make you feel like you don't deserve the happiness you've earned. The most dangerous part of dealing with these people is that their negativity can start to affect you. If you constantly surround yourself with individuals who refuse to celebrate your wins, you may begin to downplay your own success. You might start second-guessing yourself, wondering if your achievements really matter. You might even stop sharing your victories altogether because you don't want to deal with their lack of enthusiasm or their passive-aggressive comments. But your success deserves to be acknowledged. Your hard work deserves recognition. You should never feel like you have to apologize for achieving something great. The right people, the ones who truly care, will celebrate you without hesitation. They will be proud of you, not because they have something to gain, but because they genuinely want to see you happy. It's important to pay attention to who claps when you win and who doesn't. The ones who remain silent, the ones who downplay your success, the ones who make you feel bad for achieving something, they are showing you that they do not truly value you. And when someone shows you who they are, it's up to you to believe them. There are people in life who will never take responsibility for their actions. No matter what happens, they will always find a way to shift the blame onto someone else, usually onto you. These individuals make you feel like you are the problem in every situation, even when you know deep down that you have done nothing wrong. Over time, their behavior can make you question yourself, your emotions, and even your reality. At first, it might not be obvious. Maybe you have a disagreement with them, and instead of having a mature conversation, they immediately turn it around on you. If you express that something they did hurt you, they dismiss your feelings, saying you're too sensitive or overreacting. They don't acknowledge your perspective. Instead, they make you feel like your emotions are invalid. It doesn't matter how reasonable or calmly you explain yourself, they always find a way to make you the one at fault. Then there are the times when they twist situations to make you feel guilty. If they forget to do something, they say, "Well, you should have reminded me." If they hurt your feelings, they claim, "I was just joking, you take things too seriously." If you call them out on their bad behavior, they say you're always looking for problems. They refuse to take accountability, and instead they manipulate you into thinking that you are the cause of every issue. The longer you deal with this kind of person, the more you begin to doubt yourself. You start replaying conversations in your head, wondering if maybe they're right. Maybe you are overreacting. Maybe you should have done things differently. They have a way of making you feel like you are always in the wrong, even when the evidence says otherwise. This is a tactic often used by toxic individuals. It's called gaslighting. They distort the truth to make you question your own perception, making it easier for them to maintain control over you. And the worst part, they never apologize. Even when it is painfully obvious that they were wrong, they will find a way to justify their actions. If you press the issue, they might give a half-hearted apology like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," which isn't an apology at all. They don't regret what they did, they just regret that you called them out on it. They want to move past the situation without taking responsibility, leaving you to carry the weight of their mistakes. Over time, this type of treatment can deeply affect your self-esteem. You might start avoiding conflict altogether, choosing to stay silent rather than speak up for yourself. You might feel like no matter what you do, it's never enough. You might even begin to believe that you really are the problem because that's what you've been told over and over again. This is how toxic people operate. They break you down little by little until you doubt yourself so much that you stop fighting back. But the truth is, you are not the problem. A healthy person, someone who truly cares about you, will listen when you express your feelings. They will acknowledge when they've hurt you. They will take responsibility for their actions and make an effort to do better. They will not twist the situation to make you feel guilty or blame you for things that are not your fault. If someone constantly makes you feel like everything is your fault, it is not because you are actually in the wrong. It is because they refuse to take accountability. They would rather make you feel small than admit their mistakes. And if you allow this cycle to continue, it will only drain you emotionally, leaving you feeling unheard, unappreciated, and exhausted. When life is going well, it's easy to have people around. They laugh with you, spend time with you, and even make you feel like you are important to them. But when things get hard, when you are struggling, when you need someone to stand by your side, that's when you see people's true colors. Some will stay, offering their support, checking in on you, and making sure you are okay. Others will suddenly disappear, making excuses, avoiding your calls, and acting as if your problems don't exist. These are the people who were only there when it was convenient for them. At first, you might not even realize it's happening. Maybe you reach out for advice, thinking they will listen, but instead they are too busy. You try to talk to them about something difficult you are going through, but they change the subject or give short, uninterested responses. If you need real support, they find ways to avoid you altogether. They don't answer your messages, they don't return your calls, and if you do manage to get their attention, they brush you off with phrases like, "I'm sure you'll figure it out," or "I don't know what to tell you." This pattern becomes more obvious when you compare how they act when they need help. When they have a problem, they expect you to be there instantly. They call, they text, they want your advice, your time, your emotional energy. And because you care, you give it. You listen, you support them, you show up for them in ways they would never do for you. You assume that one day, if the roles were reversed, they would do the same. But then when you finally need them, you realize they are nowhere to be found. There's a painful realization that comes with this kind of treatment. It makes you feel unimportant, as if your struggles don't matter. You begin to wonder if you ever meant anything to them, or if you were just convenient. And the more you notice it, the more it hurts. You remember all the times you were there for them, all the times you listened, encouraged, and supported them. And you realize that it was never truly reciprocated. These people have mastered the art of making excuses. They will always have a reason for why they couldn't be there for you. They were busy. They had their own problems. They didn't know how to help. And maybe at first you accept these excuses. You tell yourself that maybe they really were overwhelmed, that maybe they didn't know what to say. But then it happens again and again. And eventually you have to face the truth. They were never truly there for you in the first place. The reality is, people who care about you will show up, even when it's inconvenient. They won't always have the perfect words, but they will make the effort. They will check in on you, not because they need something, but because they genuinely care about your well-being. They will listen even when they don't have all the answers. They will stand by your side, not just in the good times, but in the hard times, Bo. The ones who disappear when you need them most are showing you exactly how they feel about you. They were never invested in your well-being. They were only interested in what you could offer them. And once you stop being useful, once you become the one in need, they no longer have any reason to stick around. Their absence is not an accident, it's a choice. Respect is a fundamental part of any healthy relationship, whether it's with a friend, a family member, or a partner. When someone truly cares about you, they respect your boundaries because they understand that boundaries are not about shutting people out, but about maintaining balance and self-respect. However, there are people who constantly push, ignore, or completely disregard the limits you set. These people do not truly care about you because if they did, they would respect your personal space, your needs, and your well-being. At first, boundary violations might seem small. Maybe they constantly interrupt you when you say you need time alone. Perhaps they pressure you into doing things you're uncomfortable with, making you feel guilty for saying no. They test the limits you set, seeing how far they can push before you push back. And if you don't stand firm, they continue to take advantage, slowly breaking down your ability to say no. They might make comments that belittle your choices, dismiss your feelings, or make fun of your concerns. If you tell them that something they did hurt you, they might say you're too sensitive or it's not a big deal. Instead of listening and adjusting their behavior, they make you feel like you are overreacting. This is a form of manipulation designed to make you doubt yourself, so they can continue doing whatever they want without consequences. Some people will guilt trip you into breaking your own boundaries. If you tell them you can't help them with something because you need to focus on yourself, they might say, "I thought you cared about me," or "If you were a real friend, you'd do this for me." They use emotional manipulation to make you feel bad for prioritizing your own well-being. They act as if your boundaries are an attack on them, when in reality, they are simply a form of self-respect. There are also those who cross physical boundaries disregarding your comfort level. Maybe they invade your personal space despite knowing it makes you uncomfortable. Perhaps they pressure you into situations that make you uneasy, disregarding your repeated refusals. They act as if your feelings don't matter, as if your right to decide what happens in your own life is less important than their wants. Over time, dealing with people who constantly disrespect your boundaries can be exhausting. You might start to feel guilty for standing up for yourself, or you may find yourself giving in just to avoid conflict. But every time you allow them to push past your limits, they learn that they can continue to do so without consequences. The more they get away with it, the less they respect you. The truth is, people who truly care about you will listen when you say no. They will understand that your boundaries are there for a reason, and they won't try to make you feel bad for setting them. They won't pressure you, manipulate you, or guilt trip you into doing things you don't want to do. They will respect your space, your time, and your choices because they value you as a person, not just for what they can get from you. If someone continuously ignores your boundaries, it's not a mistake, it's a choice. They are choosing their own desires over your well-being. They are showing you that they do not respect you, and if someone does not respect you, they do not truly care about you. There are people in life who only reach out when they need something from you. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. Maybe they ask for a small favor, and you're happy to help. Then it happens again and again. Over time, you begin to notice a pattern. They only call when they need something. They only text when they want help. They only make time for you when it benefits them in some way. These people don't check in on you just to see how you're doing. They don't make an effort to spend time with you unless there's something in it for them. If you stopped giving, stopped helping, or stopped being useful to them, they would disappear. This is because their connection with you isn't based on genuine care or respect. It's based on what you can provide. At first, you might not want to believe it. You might tell yourself that they're just busy, that maybe they don't realize what they're doing. But the truth becomes obvious when you compare how much they take versus how much they give. They expect you to be there for them at all times, yet when you need something, they are nowhere to be found. When they have a problem, they reach out immediately, expecting you to listen, to help, to support them. But when you need support, they don't answer, they make excuses, or they suddenly don't have time. You might start to feel drained by these one-sided interactions. It feels like you're always giving, yet never receiving. When they talk to you, it's always about their issues, their struggles, their needs. You could be struggling, exhausted, or overwhelmed, but they won't notice because they never ask. They don't take the time to check in on you or show concern for your well-being. Your role in their life is not as a friend, a partner, or a valued person. It is as a resource. These people often use guilt or manipulation to keep the cycle going. If you ever hesitate to help, they might say things like, "I thought you were a good friend," or "You're the only person I can count on." They play on your kindness, making you feel like it's your responsibility to fix their problems. And because you care, you continue to give, even when it drains you. The problem with being in relationships like this is that they can wear you down emotionally. You start to feel unappreciated, like your kindness is being taken for granted. You might begin to question whether these people ever really cared about you in the first place. If someone only values you when you're useful to them, Were they ever truly your friend? Genuine relationships are built on mutual support, not one-sided expectations. People who care about you will not only reach out when they need something. They will be there during your good days and your bad days, not just when it's convenient for them. They will ask how you are doing, not just talk about themselves. They will offer help and support, not just take it. If someone only comes around when they need something, pay attention. It's a clear sign that their interest in you is not genuine. Their real connections are based on care, respect, and effort from both sides. If you find yourself constantly giving while receiving nothing in return, it may be time to reevaluate whether that relationship is worth holding on to. Some people will never celebrate your success. No matter how hard you work, how much you achieve, or how far you go, they will always find a way to downplay your accomplishments. Instead of being happy for you, they act indifferent or even annoyed when you succeed. They refuse to acknowledge your growth, your progress, or your victories because deep down, your success makes them uncomfortable. At first, it might not be obvious. You achieve something important and you expect them to be excited for you. But instead of celebrating with you, they give you a half-hearted response or change the subject. Maybe they say something like, "Oh, that's nice," and quickly move on. Or they might ignore it altogether, acting as if nothing happened. If you mention it again, they seem uninterested, as if your success is an inconvenience to them. Then, there are the ones who try to minimize what you've accomplished. If you get a promotion, they say, "Well, you got lucky." If you start a new business, they say, "Everyone's doing that now." If you reach a personal goal, they find a way to dismiss it. Instead of recognizing the effort and dedication it took for you to achieve something, they try to make it seem smaller than it really is. Some will even try to make you feel guilty for your success. They might say things like, "Must be nice to have everything work out for you," or "Not everyone gets those kinds of opportunities." These statements are meant to make you feel bad for achieving something they didn't. Instead of being inspired or supportive, they project their own insecurities onto you, making it seem as though you did something wrong just by succeeding. In some cases, they may become openly negative or competitive. If they see you moving forward, they suddenly try to outshine you. Instead of being happy for your progress, they turn it into a silent competition. They start comparing their achievements to yours, trying to prove that they are still ahead. They might even spread negativity, making passive-aggressive comments or finding subtle ways to undermine your confidence. This kind of behavior comes from insecurity. People who are truly confident in themselves do not feel threatened by the success of others. They celebrate their friends, they uplift the people around them, and they find joy in seeing others win. But those who struggle with their own self-worth see your success as a reflection of their own failures. Instead of being inspired, they feel jealous. Instead of supporting you, they withdraw or try to bring you down. Over time, you might start to notice patterns in how they react to different situations. If you're struggling, they are there, ready to listen and even offer advice. But the moment things start going well for you, their energy shifts. They become distant, uninterested, or even critical. It's almost as if they preferred you when you were struggling because it made them feel better about themselves. But the moment you start to rise, they no longer know how to relate to you. The truth is, real friends and loved ones will celebrate your wins with you. They will be excited for you, even if they are going through challenges of their own. They will acknowledge your hard work, your sacrifices, and your growth. They won't downplay your achievements or try to compete with you. Instead, they will lift you up and remind you that you deserve every good thing that comes your way. If someone refuses to celebrate your success, it's not because your achievements don't matter, it's because they are struggling to deal with their own insecurities. They see your progress as a threat rather than something to be happy about. And when someone truly cares about you, they don't feel threatened by your growth. Instead, they stand by your side, cheering you on every step of the way. Recognizing these behaviors isn't about holding grudges. It's about setting boundaries. It's about understanding that you deserve relationships that are built on mutual care, respect, and love. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not everyone who says they care actually does. But when you recognize the ones who don't, you gain the power to walk away. And that's not selfish, that's self-respect. Because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Choose wisely. Choose people who choose you,